Hello, good afternoon to everybody on board. Welcome to this afternoon presentation and then a beautiful section. It's still a gift to you for our Employee Appreciation Month. So usually people that handle projects, especially a medical doctor, would always forget to treat himself, even though he treats others. The same way we are financial advisors, but sometimes we don't get to plan our financial status very well. So today, as a gift to you, as I've mentioned earlier, the Financial Literacy Association at the University of Ghana, in association with Center for Financial Literacy Education and then the Financial Awareness Foundation, just to support our Employee Appreciation Month, would like to give us an hour and 30-minute presentation on rethinking our personal financial management. A lot has happened with this COVID, and it's just good for you to relook at your building blocks to becoming successful with your finances. So I have a whole team of 4 people, including our own Mimi, who will take us through this 1 hour, 30 minutes journey. So I'll quickly stop my screen and then hand over to them. So you are welcome once again. Valentino, take over from me.
Okay. Thank you, Pep, for the opportunity to present to the Access family. We have already tackled the introduction. So this presentation is in the spirit of improving financial awareness and financial literacy. And as Pep rightfully said, it's a special gift to the Access Pension Group employees. So we are going to do a few introductions so that you get to know those who are speaking. We'll also share the COVID experience and how that's a call for all of us to rethink our personal finances. We are also going to talk about building blocks to successful financial planning, and the improving financial awareness and financial literacy movement will also be introduced, and you will also be introduced as to how you can join to support the movement. Okay, so on the call today, we have Dr. Benjamin Amwa. If you are in the University of Ghana Business School or you have been there already, you would know him. He is a lecturer with the Department of Finance and a coordinator of the FA Association, and also the founding executive of the Center for Economics and Financial Inequality Studies. Mr. Peter Kenyako is the executive director of the Center for Financial Literacy and Education. So there are more of his credentials and what he does. You can read it to know more. You know me already, so I'll pass. Mr. Valentino Sabuko is the executive director for the Financial Awareness Foundation in the United States. So these are our presenters for today. It's going to be a very rich session. So, Mr. Amwa, Dr. Amwa, we can proceed.
Hello, Dr. Amwa, your audio.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here this afternoon, and good evening to you all. We are indeed excited to join Access to bring us all up to speed with what we need to know about personal finances. So it's indeed a great privilege to have you here. And we hope that our time spent here will be worth it, and it will be something that we will all be proud of. Okay, so if you have the screen now, we are talking about rethinking financial awareness and personal financial management. And we think that it is more important at this time, especially with what COVID has brought to bear on all of us. What we've learned from COVID is that nothing is permanent. Situations keep changing. So we need to also get our house in order. So we have a financial literacy awareness quiz that I believe that your HR shared with you. I have the results, and when we go through the presentations and there's time, I would like to share the results with you. But then for general information, we realize that most of the respondents are not currently aware or not current with their finances. Why? Because most of the respondents scored around 9 out of the possible 20. The extreme performers, we had one who scored 16, and we can classify that person as financially astute. And then we have the rest also scoring below 5. So, it's a fair balance. And in most cases, when you take this quiz, realize that most people are always around 9 and maybe 10. So you are not out of the normal. It is just that we need to work on our personal finances, and we will be okay in terms of our awareness and what we have to do by way of the quiz. So if we have time, I'll share the details of the survey with you. And then we can also, as a group, have some interventions from HR, where HR will have to come in and organize some training sections on areas that the scores really need some attention as far as our personal finances is concerned. Thank you. So we have a big problem at hand. 30 million Ghanaians in terms of population. 41% of the population is deemed to be working. Unemployment rate is near 6.8, but then for most people who are even employed, they are in the agri sector, and in most cases, what they do does not earn them much. And to make up for differences in earnings, we have a lot of people contracting debt. And even for those of us who are working, and for most of you even at Axis, you'll bear with us that sometimes you have to contract debt simply for you to top up some of your financing needs so you can meet some critical financial needs that you have to see to. Again, it is a case that life expectancy is increasing across the world and in Ghana. And we are going to retire at 60. So the issue is, if you are going to retire at 60, how do we manage our resources in such a way that we can live long after age 60? Many a times, retirees run out of funds, and it is indeed a big problem for us to think about. If you go through history, we have gone through different crises. We have gone through health crisis, Spanish flu, HIV/AIDS, SARS, avian flu, and recently COVID-19. COVID-19, which is a health crisis, has permeated into the economic aspect of us as individuals and then even as countries. We have gone through some financial crisis in the world, credit crisis, Great Depression, the OPEC oil price shock, Asian crisis, and recently the 2007-2008 financial crisis. What we are seeing here is that the world and the way it is not predictable. Things keep changing and things keep hitting us by surprise. Many a times when these crises happen, it leads to what we call cutting down on jobs, and it comes with its own risk. As we speak now, we've had a lot of deaths and a lot of confirmed cases by way of COVID. In Ghana in particular, we've had 93,456 confirmed cases and 738 deaths. Job losses is more than 40,000. And you are being told that the economy is recovering. But the one thing you have to be aware of is that anytime the economy takes a nosedive, employers are quick to lay off workers. But then when the economy starts rebounding or rebounds, employers are not quick to employ. What it means is that we need to manage our finances so that in situations like this, we will be able to manage ourselves so the economy achieves full recovery. About 770,000 workers in Ghana have experienced some reduction in income. And then there has been 42,000 layoffs. This is from research from the World Bank, UNDP, Ghana Statistical Service, etc. So what are we saying? The COVID pandemic is not the end of all crises. Definitely there will be another form of crisis. We don't know. It can be a technological crisis because the world is now moving to technology, but we don't know what will happen. But then what we know is that irrespective of what the crisis will be it health, financial, or even a technological crisis, its economic consequences will not be difficult to tell. So bottom line, let us get our financial house in order and let us practice better personal financial management. And so this afternoon section is to help us, the finance professionals, so we can manage our financial resources in such a way that we will be able to weather the storms as we go through some of these challenges that the world will throw at us. It is not a dead-end situation. Always there is a way out. So let us put our financial house in order. I believe that by the time we finish this presentation, there are certain things that we will all learn. And as employees, we will be able to adopt some strategies to manage our resources, and especially our financial resources. So welcome, and let's rethink our personal financial management.
Hello, good afternoon. So one question I want to ask is, are you managing your finances or your finances are managing you? It's either you are managing your personal finance or your personal finance is managing you. It's either you are controlling your money or your money is controlling you. And when it comes to personal finance management, you don't need a special talent or skills to be able to manage your personal finance. You just have to get the essential principles, get the principles behind personal finance management. And we believe once you acquire these principles, you'll be able to manage your personal finance. So our presentation is basically to unveil these principles to you and walk you through it so that you'll be able to manage your personal finance and take the right financial decisions. And as a disclaimer, this does not serve as a specific tax, legal, or any kind of professional advice. This is a community gift that we are giving out. So it walks you through the principles so that based on your financial situation, you can then take your decision. So basically, this is not a specific advice. It's a general advice that regardless of your situations, once you apply it, it will help you out. Valentino, we can. So which area of your personal finances frustrates you the most? There are a whole lot of personal finance areas when it comes to paying bills, doing your paperwork, dealing with your debt, financial calculators, tracking your net worth. Which of these areas frustrates you the most? So Dr. Benjamin, which of these areas frustrates you the most?
I think it is my tax aspect. The tax aspect where I have to pay tax to the state is where sometimes I find it a bit difficult. But then, as an income earner, the laws prescribe that I have to pay my tax. So even though I wish I will not do that, I have to obey. So that aspect is not too interesting for me, sir.
Sure, okay. So just like Prof. Doc, each of us has our own frustration when it comes to personal finance. But with the right information, we can always manage our personal finance. So your future shouldn't be a gamble for most of us because of how complicated managing your personal finances. We tend to not even think about it or do something about it because it frustrates us. But once you start doing that, you are living your financial future in an unknown situation. We believe you have to take action towards your financial future. And this is what the whole presentation is about. So Doug will take us through the individual life cycle.
Okay, so as individuals, we work and we don't work forever. At a point in time, be it by accident or through a natural means or by law, we will have to stop working and then live on what we have accumulated or saved over time. So you have developed what we call the individual and family working life cycle. And if you check on what we have on the screen, realize that on the y-axis, we have the ages. We are assuming that you start working around 20 and you live beyond 75. And then on the other axis, the y, we have the net worth. That is the difference between your assets and your liabilities. All the way up to about age 40, in most instances, we go through what we call the family formation and accumulation phase, where we have started working, we have young family, and we are accumulating funds. Between age 40 to about 50, 55, we go to what we call the accumulation and growing phases of our life. This is a point where we have achieved high level of experience on our job. We are middle managers, and some of us are even senior managers. At this point, our net worth will also be increasing because we are adding more than we are taking out. Then after that, we have what we call the consolidation and spending and gifting phase. That is the stage at which we are most likely not working, and we have to draw down what we have accumulated over our working life. We believe strongly that this particular phase that we have is not the same for every individual. However, most of us will go through these three phases of our lives in terms of how much we are going to make and what we are going to spend. These phases of our lives should not go without us going to what we call the FA infinity sign, getting organized and planning financially. At each phase of our life, because we go through a lifelong learning process, we need to make sure that we get organized and we plan. As we go through this presentation, we'll walk you through the 11 steps in the infinity sign. One by one, we'll walk you through, and then we'll collapse the two into what we call getting organized and planning financially. And as we do this through the phases that we have shown in the graph, personal finance or personal financial management becomes something easy that we as finance professionals can practice and also better share with our clients and families and even friends that we have out there. So as finance professionals, we should be doing this, and we should also pass on this knowledge to other members of our community. So we'll go through the presentation. As we go through it, we'll talk much deeper into this graph.
Managing personal finance today is more complicated and more important than ever. As Professor Benjamin and Peter and Mimi have mentioned, we're living longer, but we're saving proportionately less. Financial literacy means much more than knowing about budgeting, managing debt, and putting money away for your future. It's about being equipped to handle a lifetime of financial challenges, needs, and changes, figuring out how to build assets, staying ahead of inflation, taking advantage of deflation when it occurs, and choosing wisely from a constant widening field of savings, investment, and insurance options. When it comes to finances, people are faced with more pressure and more possibilities than ever before. We see this now that we are having to deal with COVID-19. The good news is that as complex as today's financial world is, there really is no mystery around sound personal financial management. As Peter noted, you don't need to have a master's degree in finance or economics or accounting to get ahead. What's needed is a solid basic principles of organization and decision-making, plus the essential principles to smart money management and the willingness to put them into action. Effective financial management does involve certain procedures that are not intuitive, and in most cases, they're not taught in home and school. In fact, for many people, the constant bombardment of economic news, fragmented financial information, and investment product advertisements are part of the problem. Information overload can be a major obstacle to sorting out choices and making wise decisions. To save time and money, we've developed a 6-step process that we'll share with you shortly to help go through this effectively. The process centers on helping you to get organized, then to stay aware of your money issues, on making deliberate, informed choices about the ways you spend, the way you save and invest, instead of just using your emotions or going with the flow or keeping up with the Joneses. The illustration presented here represents the 11 essential components of dealing with personal financial management, and it's divided into 2 spheres, one getting organized and the second financial planning. And it's in the form of an infinity sign, so it's everlasting. So as you go through the process and learn about these areas, you can also set up a management schedule at home that easily addresses these areas over the course of the year. Once you get organized and you can stay that way, it's easy to update and track and monitor your progress over the time. Next, we'll be sharing with you in a rapid fire an overview of what we'll be presenting in more details in future presentations.
Okay, so the infinity sign, as Valentino talked about, comes in 2 major blocks. We have the getting organized and the financial planning. So when we say getting organized, what are we talking about? As financial advisors and as finance professionals, we are busy, we are meeting deadlines, and we don't have time. We get up early in the morning, off to the office. What about ourselves and financial matters relating to us? We need to have a systematic way of dealing with our finances. So we talk about getting organized. We are saying that don't allow your financial matters to clutter. Don't allow issues relating to your finances be disorganized. Have a way of getting it organized and centralized. The only way we can do that is to go through our 4 steps that we've identified under the getting organized section of the infinity sign. 1, you need to know your paperwork. And by paperwork, we are saying that all electronic and non-electronic financial evidence that you have, financial obligation or financial contracts that you have. Digital, we are talking about ATM cards, PIN numbers, checkbooks, password, insurance certificates. Where are they? Do you have them centralized? In an emergency situation, can someone in your home pick your checkbook? In a situation where you cannot talk, and we have your ATM card, do we have somebody in the family who knows your PIN, who can give us access so we can provide financial health care to you? Is your insurance up to date in terms of paperwork? So I'm saying that make sure that you have all that you need, your paperwork, and file them electronically if you have electronic paperwork or evidence in terms of receipt, in terms of ATM cards, etc., PIN numbers. Make sure that you file them nicely at a central place on DVDs or maybe on electronic file system so that somebody within your household can know. This is very, very important because if you do not have these items organized, the receipts that you had when you bought that shares, the certificate, now it is even electronic. That investment that you made, the certificate, which is electronic, apart from you, do you have somebody who have access to it? All these are what we call paperwork. We are saying that make sure you have them centrally prepared at a location that can easily be retrieved in an emergency situation should somebody need it, and especially when you are not around and it has to be used. Again, you need to know that knowing how to get your paperwork will also influence how you deal with your financial advisors and financial product providers. We can talk much about financial advisors and financial product providers because for Axis, it looks like you are more of the two. You are in one breath a financial advisor, and in one breath, Axis comes as a financial product provider. Now, when you have this relationship as a financial service provider, what should you do? What should you know, and what should you pass on to your client? So the relationship you have with your financial product provider or your financial advisor will also influence how you do your paperwork. And it's also very important in some of the critical personal financial decisions that you are going to take. So we can have a detailed section on financial advisors and financial product providers and how we as employees can even relate to them. And also how we as employees of Axis can pass on our financial product to the clients that we interact with, even as we sell the company's product to prospective clients. It is very important we know if we are financial advisors or financial product providers, or we do both, and how we can use that position to reach out to our clients with financial products. Then again, the second one is what we call the net worth. The net worth. As an individual, you need to know your value. Your net worth basically tries to look at your value. What do you own in terms of assets? And what obligations must you meet in terms of your liabilities? So for assets, we can have our personal assets. Personal assets can simply be things like what we use that brings us satisfaction. Satisfaction in the immediate term. Personal property, we can talk about real estate, etc. Then we can also have what we call our investment asset. Investment asset is what will be generating income for us when we are not relying on our personal assets. Then we have what we call the liabilities. The liabilities are the obligations that we have to see to, we have to meet. So when we take out our liabilities from our assets, it tells us our value, which is our net worth, how rich you are or how poor you are. This is not difficult. This evening, I will give you all an exercise. Just go home, sit down, take a paper, and then list what you owe. A car, a television set, a piece of land, write it down, put values on them. What are your obligations? You've contracted a loan. Every month you are paying X amount, write it down. You are paying this, write it down. You're paying school fees, write it down. Subtract it from your assets. And that gives you a fair idea of your net worth. And so when you look on the screen, we have a net worth statement. And I believe that you, even as financial planners and financial service providers at Axis, I believe you may have a statement like this that you do engage your clients with, and then you try to assess their net worth. And I believe that if we do that for our clients, as employees of Axis, we should also take the step to also try to assess ourselves and to know what our value is. Knowing this will help us to manage our personal finances. So it's very, very important. We know this. Then the next thing we need to talk about is our cash flows. It's about inflows. What brings us cash? Some of us have rental properties that we rent. Some of us is our salaries that we earn every month. And some of us have some investment that we are undertaking that periodically brings us money. Again, some of us are expecting bonus, etc. These are our inflows. Then we also need to ask ourselves, what are the obligations? What are the outflows? We need to pay rent. We need to pay fuel. We need to pay electricity bill and water bill. That is our outflows. So if you look onto the screen, we have what we call a cash flow planner. That details out what we have to do on a month-by-month basis, which can be translated into a quarterly, semi-annual, then an annual basis. And we can also identify our expenditure and also work it out in that manner. This cash flow statement is very important because it helps us to identify the financing gap, the deficit that we need to fund. And once you're able to identify the deficit or the surplus, if we have surplus, then the next thing is, where do I invest the surplus to get some extra income on it? If there is deficit that we need to borrow, the question is, where are we going to borrow from? And at what rate do we want to contract the facility? Many of us are employed, so sometimes you can even source for some credit facility from maybe Axis. If that system exists in Axis, it is going to come at a cost. We need to consider it. Again, we want to source it from a finance house apart from Axis, it is going to come at a cost. So if you're able to prepare our cash flow and know the deficit, then we can right ahead of time, plan for it, and then make sure that we get it at good rates so it doesn't create so much difficulty for us. Then the fourth one under getting organized is what we call the employee benefits, employment benefits. Apart from our salary, there are other things that we benefit us sometimes you don't know. And I believe that Axis has more detailed employment benefits that we need to take advantage of. Apart from your salary, apart from your life insurance and retirement plans, there may be other benefits that Axis provide. So as an employee, you must know your employment benefits and then make sure you tap into it and use it to your full advantage. So at this point in time, I will call on Mimi to walk us through that of Axis in terms of generic one, so that we can all appreciate what is it that our employer is providing for us. And we'll see how best we can manage our employment benefits.
Okay, thank you, Doc. When it comes to employment benefits, a lot of us consider take home, and we don't consider the other benefits which can also be a valuable hidden treasure for us. A lot of the time they are misunderstood or underutilized. Today is a great time to take a fresh look at your employment benefits to see whether you are taking advantage of it. Also, in future promotional or employment considerations, you would also be able to look at the right benefit package that can make a difference for you currently and for the years to come. It is known that employers can spend the equivalent of 15 to 30% or more of salaries, on employment benefits. When you also consider the tax effect of the value of these benefits, their significance can be much greater to you. Employers also frequently offer value-added benefits such as discounts and attractive loans, savings rate investments, and other things that can help reduce costs. And all these add up to serious CD savings or benefits for you. The payments your employer makes towards, the payment Axis makes towards your health package, your life insurance, retirement products, is money you do not have to spend on your own. And that is why there's a need to relook at your employment benefits. Understanding and utilizing your employment benefits is an important way to reduce your own personal expenses, plan for your future, and be prepared for financial emergencies. So it's very important to be informed about your benefits, which also helps when you are considering a job offer, a career change, a promotion, whatever it is. It's not only the salary that matters, but the long-term value of your total salary and benefits package. So this is just a picture of your employment benefits salary. So you can visit HR and PEP will be very glad to let you know what your benefits are and the amounts that are associated with those benefits so that you can start taking them into consideration and what do you call it? Be excited more about working in Axis, because in Axis there are a lot of benefits that we do not take into consideration, which may not be seen in other with other employers.
After you get your finances organized, financial planning becomes a significant key to your financial success. Unless you're lucky enough to win the lottery or to receive a substantial inheritance, very few people can really obtain and maintain financial security without some forethought and a strategy, a financial plan. The end and the beginning of the year is always a great time to review and update your existing financial plans and to start the process. It's a good time anytime. The process of financial planning doesn't have to be intimidating or difficult. In simple terms, a financial plan is whatever strategies you set up for yourself and your family to meet your personal and financial current and life goals, needs, obligations, and most importantly, your dreams. The most successful financial plans are personal in nature. They're based on your goals, your values, your lifestyle choices, and they reflect your personality. Are you aggressive by nature, or are you a risk avoider? Would you rather own stocks and bonds individually, or would you like to be more into mutual funds, or leverage real estate, or collectibles, or own and start businesses? Do you like to rely on professional advisors or talk to other people before making informed financial decisions? Or do you prefer to do your own investigation and come to your own conclusions and then seek out confirmations from advisors before you make those important decisions? It's important to understand the steps you'll need to take in putting together a winning strategy to reach and maintain your financial objectives. The subject matter of financial planning is very broad, as you see with the FA Infinity Lifelong Learning symbol. Accountants, attorneys, wealth managers, bankers, estate planners, retirement planners, financial planners, insurance agents, investment advisors, realtors, stockbrokers, trust officers, and others can act as financial advisors and planners. Each of them emphasize a different aspect of your financial life. This is an important reason financial plans and strategies can take different forms. But once you've understood what's really important to you and have been able to define that, and you understand your personal and financial and life goals, there are 6 major steps of personal finance that could be addressed in your planning, as noted on the screen. Now, we have a systematic approach that can help make addressing these a little easier. Peter, how do these work?
Okay, thank you very much. Comprehensive financial planning involves a lot of factors, which can seem complex and confusing. If you don't know the essential principles of smart financial management and how to use them, you may not even try. So in order to plan your finances, you have to go through these steps. So step number 1 is you have to define your goals. You have to state your personal and financial goals as concisely as possible. You have to be very specific about it, what you seek to achieve. Then you have to gather and organize your data. Make sure your financial information is organized so that your current financial position is clear. Hopefully you have already done this by working through the getting organized aspect, where you know your paperwork, you know your net worth, you know your cash flow. So this, you have to organize them, you have to gather and organize them so that you know where you stand. Then you have to analyze your situation. So if you take a look at your net worth, are your assets less than your liabilities, or are your liabilities more than your assets? So you have to analyze that situation. You have to also analyze your cash flow. Are you earning less than you are spending, or you are spending more than you are making? So you have to also analyze that. Then you have to develop your strategies, identify plans that will help you achieve your goals in the most efficient manner. Then from there, you have to implement your plan. So once you identify your plan, you have to implement those plans. This is where you take action towards your goal. They have to track and monitor your progress. So any financial goal that you set, after analyzing it, after developing your plan, after implementing your plan, you have to track and monitor your progress. So once you do this, you are building a strong financial plan that will lead you to your financial success. So in the financial planning process, after getting organized, after tracking all your progress, this is very important. You have to define your goals. So now let's dig deep into goals. Goals are what really matters to you, the things you want to accomplish in life. Financially, what are the things you want to accomplish? Most of us have financial dreams. We don't have financial goals. Yes, we dream of building the biggest apartment, which is very good. We dream of traveling around the world, which is very good. We dream of having so much good things, which is awesome. But until you take action, until you plan for those dreams, it has not become a goal. So a dream is something you hope for, and a goal is something you have planned for. So in planning your goals, you need to ask yourself some questions. What is really important to you? What type of work do you really enjoy doing? So we need to ask ourselves how we are going to spend our time. All these things should be part of our goal setting. After work, how do you spend your time? Weekends, how do you spend your time? So you need to list your lifestyle goals. When you look at the screen, we have a personal and financial goals statement. So you need to list your lifestyle goals, what is important to you, what you want to achieve in 2, 3, 4, 5 years time. So once you do this, you are planning your goals. And this is what will help you achieve your ultimate financial success. It is very important. Then after planning your financial goals, this is also an aspect which is very, very important, financial independence and retirement. For most people, they think financial retirement is far away, it's 40 years away. So most people don't think about retirement until they reach age 40 and above. But financial independence is also very important. Getting to a point where you don't necessarily need to work to be able to take care of your financial needs. So you have to plan for your financial independence, and you have to plan for your financial retirement as well. So these are some of the questions you can ask yourself. At what age will you reach your financial independence? So you need to know when you want to reach your financial independence. Set a target for that, because if you don't set targets, you don't hit targets. So set targets for your financial independence and retirement. When can you stop working and still maintain your lifestyle? So your current lifestyle, if you stop work today, will you be able to maintain that lifestyle for a year? If the answer is no, then you need to start doing something about it. For how long can you maintain your current lifestyle? Then you need to also ask yourself, what rate of return do you require on your assets to reach and maintain your personal and family goals? So if you're doing an investment, you need to ask yourself, what rate do I need to invest my money to be able to reach this target? Then, so this is where you need to run your numbers. So Axis has calculators that can help you run your numbers. There are a lot of financial calculators that can also help you run your numbers to know how many years you can even double your money, how many years you can use to achieve your financial goals.
Mimi, what type of calculators or tools do you have for the employees
So we have a couple of savings and SNIT calculators on our website. So employees are encouraged to use it for themselves, even as we use it for our clients. And the calculator deals with the accumulation side, but for the decumulation side, which is after retirement, you have the financial planning department has a calculator in Excel, which is able to let you know how much you need to have saved to be able to achieve the kind of lifestyle you desire. Having this in mind will help you to know the capital you should have at the beginning of your retirement and how long that money would last you. And this should help you determine what kind of effort you should be putting in while you're working so that you can be able to achieve this retirement you dream of, or for you, if it's to retire early and be financially independent. The calculators we have in-house, both on Excel with the financial planning department and online, should be able to provide you with some guideline or some guidance to put in place a plan to achieve the financial independence or retire comfortably.
Peter, what are some of the fundamentals of planning and saving and investing for retirement?
Okay, thank you very much. I would say one element that you can use to track your savings or your investment is to use the rule of 72. If you want to know how much your principal or any amounts can double, you have to divide 72 by the rate of return. So let's say if you have 5,000 in an investment account and that money is earning you 8% per annum, then you need to divide 72 by the 8%, which will give you 9 years. So it will take you 9 years to double your 5,000 to 10,000. Yes, so this is how you can actually know how many years you can double your principal. And there's another element, which is understanding the power of time value of money and compounding. Albert Einstein once said, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. So if you understand the power of time value of money and compounding, it works for you. So before I proceed, I want to ask a question. Right now, I want to give out a check of $1 million and a check for a penny doubled each day for 30 days. Which one will you go for? You have 5 seconds to think about it. I'm giving you a check for $1 million and a check for a penny doubled each day for 30 days. Mostly when we ask this question, most people go for a check for $1 million. But when you do the calculation and you apply the power of compounding, you realize that a check for a penny doubled each day for 30 days, at day 30, you are getting $5.368, which is 5 times what I was giving you with my option number 1. So this tells us how compounding can help you accumulate wealth over time. When you look at COVID-19, the transfer of COVID was actually based on compounding effects. So if one person gets COVID and the person comes into contact with another person and the person comes into contact with another person, it keeps on multiplying. This is what compound interest is all about. So if you have an amount in an investment account and you leave it there over time, you roll over the principal and the interest over time, you grow your wealth. So money, saving and investing even a little can make a huge difference over time. So in our quest to be financially secure, be financially independent, and be financially free, we need to apply the power of compounding. Then let's also look at planning for our major expenditures. You definitely need major items in your life. You need to buy a car, you need to build a house, you need to plan for these items. You can't just take money out of your account and go out there to purchase your car. There should be some thinking, some forward thinking before you purchase your major expenditures. So when you look at the board, we have our major expenditure prioritizer. This is where you have to prioritize your major expenditures. Which is more important? Which one do you need the most? So you need to list them and then you need to plan towards them before you purchase them. So on investment, Mimi will talk more on investment for us. Hello, Mimi. Okay, so if Mimi is not around, investment is a lifelong task, the art of making money, or the art of spending time, resources, energy, with the expectation of earning money. And there are so many ways that your investment can earn you money. You can earn an income doing an investment. You can earn tax rebates on your investment, and you can also grow your investment. So in going into any investment, you need to, first of all, know your investment strategy. You need to know how you are going to earn money on your investments. You need to know asset allocation, asset classes. You need to diversify your income. There's this profound statement that says that you don't need to put your egg into one basket. So you need to diversify your income. And you need to know your risk tolerance. So there's this another profound statement that says that if it is too good to be true, then it is so. So before you put your money at risk, you need to first of all check, what is my risk tolerance? If I lose 1 cedi, how do I feel? If I lose 10 Ghana cedis, how do I feel? For most people, if they lose money, it doesn't hit them. But for others, once they lose even 1 cedi, it hits really hard. So you need to know your risk tolerance before you put your money at risk. And this will inform you whether you should go for low risk investments or you should go for high risk investment. Then you need to know your target rate of return. How fast do you want to grow your money, or how long do you want to grow your money? You need to take all these things into consideration. Then you need to develop your investment policy statement and plan. Start by defining your investment goals. Yes, so if you are looking for income, then you can invest into cash equivalent where you will have easy access to your money. If you are looking for growth, then you can invest into long-term investment where your money grows over time. You need to also consider inflation rates. For most people, they leave their money in an account and the money will be there. They think they are growing wealth. But over time, inflation catch up with their money. So most people save to save. They don't save to invest. So make sure you are investing your money. So this is our investment policy statement and plan. This will tell you your rates. So this takes you through so in this developing your policy, you need to know your goals. You need to also identify your rate of returns and all that. So once you go through the policy statement and plan, it will guide you on how to structure your investment.
Okay, you know, once we are income earners and we earn income every month, it's expected that we'll pay our tax as responsible citizens. And I would like to ask a question, you know, end of the month, if we are paid, if Axis pays us, we go to the bank, we are smiling. We don't even sometimes bother to know how much tax we are paying. This month, I'll give you an exercise. When you are paid, just go into the finance director's office and request for a pay slip. When you request for a pay slip, just look at how much you are paying by way of tax. Sometimes if you just oppose how much you pay as an employee, tax to the state, then look at how the state manages your tax, it's a bit troubling, but that is not our interest. Ghana Revenue Authority has given us tax reliefs so that as employees, we can apply and make use of these tax reliefs to our benefits. If you marry, there are tax relief. The number of children you have also comes with tax reliefs. If you have dependents, parents who are depending on you, there are tax reliefs. Talk to your finance director, contact GRA, they will give you some forms, you will fill, and then they will work out your annual tax reliefs for you. Now, if you are able to do that successfully, realize that depending on how much you make as salary and how much you pay as tax, you will have some benefits. It will be annualized and then it will be cascaded down on a monthly basis. You will realize that the tax relief that you are going to get will end up being just about 100 cedis. Many a times when employees realize that they are just being given reliefs of 100, they are discouraged from pursuing it. But this is the biggest mistake you can also encounter in your life. Why am I saying so? If you are able to work out your tax relief and you are able to get 100 cedis a month as relief, which is extra income, even if you don't need it, don't worry. Buy an annuity product that will earn you on the average 10%. On the average 10%. Work out this 10% per month for the next 15 years, assuming your salary will still stay the same, which will not. Work out this tax relief for the next 20 years, assuming you have 20 years to work at a rate of 10% per annum. And you are going to have this 100 cedis tax relief every month for the next 20 years. Trust me, if you do this, this tax relief that you see as 100 cedis as being too small, it is an untapped resource that you can also use to augment your pension that you are creating for yourself. So what I'm saying here is that no tax relief amount is too small. Talk to your finance director, tap into it, and then you on the side, just buy an annuity product for the next 18 years, for the next 25 years, for the next 20 years that you are working. When you go on retirement, retire that particular annuity product that you have created from the tax relief, and you'll be shocked as to how much you have if you're able to do that, even on a simple 10% per annum basis. We are even assuming that you are investing it in a T-bill index instrument for the next 20 years. And that is a good sum of money. So let's tap into our taxes that we stand to gain. Again, having built our investment, we need to buy insurance to protect. Here we are talking about what we can afford to lose and what we cannot afford to lose. What you can afford to lose, you retain it. In other words, you don't buy insurance on. But things that you think they are dear to you and they are important to you, then we expect that you buy insurance on it. Or you buy insurance to protect. Life insurance is very important. We can be sick. We need life insurance. We also have what we call property and casualty insurance. Having built our houses, our cars, we have to get insurance. So we have some fundamental insurance summary that we have here. The screen is not too clear, but this particular form is available. We can share with you. You can have a look at it and then make sure that you try to buy insurance to protect what you cannot afford to lose. What you can retain, we call the retained insurance, then you can manage it. But make sure that you have insurance so that on that day, when that unexpected happens, you can't be indemnified. Should it be that you are losing on the event that comes unannounced? Insurance is very important. Let us purchase insurance and let us use that as part of our risk management strategy in our investment. Again, as employees of Axis, look, we'll be working, some of us will be working for 35, 30, 25 years to come. At the end of the day, having acquired all these assets over time, in our non-working years and upon our demise, we need to have a document that says how our estate and our properties should be distributed. So we need to have what we call estate and gift planning as part of our financial management. Let us put our financial house in that. We started by saying, well, make sure your paperwork is done. Get yourself organized. Now, when you are exiting upon your demise, make sure that is also organized. It's very important that we have attorneys or what we call lawyers here who help us to write our will, and who will help distribute our estate upon our death, upon our demise. You don't need to be rich before you have a will. At this stage, we need to have our will. So let's start engaging our lawyers. Let's start engaging, discussing with our partners, and let's be frank in this, and let us start writing down who will get what and how our estate will be distributed, and how we can also plan some giving to the society, to our churches, to our schools, to our communities. Let us start planning all that as part of our personal financial management. It is when we do this that we can have a peaceful transition, that we can say that we have planned and planned well. You realize that these 11 steps that we've taken you through is something that you have to do at each phase of your life. You have to keep updating it. Some of them will keep changing because your personal and family situation will change. So as and when it changes, you also have to readjust or replan what is it that you initially had, so that it can be reflective of what your current situation is. So this is what we mean by the FA Infinity sign. 11 points in 2 sections: getting organized and financial planning. And these are some of the things that we think that as finance professionals, we need to know. This is just an overview, so I've not been able to go through 8 intimate details, but at least as a teaser, if we are not doing some of these things, let's quickly start rethinking our personal finance and how we can manage our personal finance, especially as COVID has taught us that no condition is permanent. And we don't know what will happen tomorrow. Let us start working on it. Let us start putting our house and our family finances in order. And as finance professionals, we cannot be advising others as we have our finance house in disorder. Let us start with ourselves. Let us start with our families, then we can appreciate it and then rub it off our clients as we engage them in personal financial management. Thank you.
Peter, share with us a little bit about the movement and what happened last month.
Okay, thank you, Valentino. On the Improving Financial Awareness and Financial Literacy movement in Ghana, we actually want to raise community of financial literates where every single Ghanaian have access to financial information and financial knowledge to help them plan their finances. And we launched this movement on the 31st of March at University of Ghana in collaboration with University of Ghana Business School to touch every single Ghanaian. And this movement has 2 main campaign venues. So we are saying that in every April, we want to have Financial Literacy Month. So we are dedicating April to financial literacy activities. There will be media campaigns, there will be conferences, fun activities to get people to keep their financial house in order. And in October, we'll be having the Estate and Gift Planning Awareness Month. So in our presentation, we spoke on estate and gift planning. We are dedicating a whole month to look into what an estate is, how you plan your estate, how you have to plan your giftings and leave your legacy behind. So in October, we will be embarking on this campaign. So basically, this is what the movement is about. We have a document we call Join the Movement. If you want to join the movement, this is an all-inclusive movement. We want everyone to participate in the movement. We are inviting financial service and financial product providers on board to join the movement so that together we can provide financial awareness and financial literacy to the entire nation. We are inviting individuals during April and October, organize your personal finance and your family finance. In October, get involved in estate and gift planning awareness month. Yes, and one thing we are also doing is we are engaging universities, tertiary institutions to establish the FA Association and research centers. And with support from Dr. Amoa, we have established the first International Improving Financial Awareness and Financial Literacy Association at University of Ghana. And we are moving to Central University. Yesterday, I met the Dean of Students of Central University. So that is our next university that we are going to. So if you have connection with any tertiary university in Ghana, you can get in touch with me or with Dr. Amoa, and we will connect with them and create the FA Association to help champion this important concept. Thank you, Valentino.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to say a big thank you to the team for taking us through the financial planning steps. I trust that we've been provided with the right tools to improve our own personal finance and that of our clients. And since this is something that really concerns us as individuals and as professionals, I would really love for more questions to be dropped in the question or the chat box for us to address. We have a few questions which we'll be addressing for the next 18 minutes. So if you have any questions, kindly drop them. Okay, Dr. Amoa, you spoke about taxes, and Nana Boama wants to know tax credits or benefits available to, he wants to know about any tax credits or benefits available to employees. He thinks that I'm thinking about mortgage and children tax credits. If these are indeed available, can it be worked out at source for employee benefits?
Okay, thank you very much for this question. At source, as in from your finance department, you have to liaise with your finance department or directorate, and then they will also work on your behalf with GRA, and then GRA will have to pick some information from you. So it is when GRA gets the information from you that whatever credits must be given to you will be worked out for you. You periodically also have to be updating your information with GRA. So the first point is touch base with your finance directorate, and then they will also contact GRA that the needed paperwork will be done. And once they are completed, the paperwork, whatever calculations or whatever credit is due you will be made available to you. So that is what I will say for now. It is on a case-by-case basis because somebody has 2 children, somebody has 3, somebody has 4. So as and when you complete your document, and then based on the instructions that will be made from your document, whatever is due will then be given to you as credit. So let's start busy with our finance director, and then we'll begin the paperwork from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Amoa. We have another question on the taxes, and it's from Eric Horsley, and he wants to know, is the tax incentive in physical cash, or is it by way of tax credit?
Okay, it is not cash there and then. Like I said to the first question, you first have to get the paperwork first done. And then when you get the paperwork, it comes in the form of reliefs for you. Reliefs for you, but it cannot be determined until you pass on the information to GRA, and then based on the amount that you are spending. For example, if you are going to school there has to be some educational tax relief. If you are going to buy a mortgage, you are on a particular debt servicing arrangement, it goes with some level of tax relief. So bottom line is, open up to GRA and get a document to GRA, and then GRA will look at it on a per annum base based on the commitment that you have, and then they will give you the release. They call it release. The release will come in for you, but it will end up in physical form as cash.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amwa. And Peter, this is a question for you. You spoke about the rule of 72, and also wants to know how you derive the 72. You divide your annual investment rate by to know the years to invest, double your principal.
Yes, madam. Good evening, madam. Next time.
Hello, Jeff. Can you kindly mute your mic, please? Thank you.
Hello, thank you, Mimi. So the rule of 72 is actually a universal rule that we use to look out for how to double our income on any investment. So if your principal on any investment, if you want to know how many years it will take you to double that amount, the rule of 72 is a universal rule that helps you to work it out. You know, we have a lot of universal rules around. So the rule of 72 is one of those universal rules that helps you to know how many years it will take you to double your income.
And it ties into the principle of time value of money and compounding too, because if you look at this, let's say you had the illustration of $5,000 and it doubles at 8% in 9 years, that means the 5,000 will be worth 10,000 in 9 years. In another 9 years, if you continue at 8%, it will then be $20,000. And then in another 9 years, it'll be $40,000. So that time period, and like what Professor Benjamin mentioned as far as the tax savings, if you can invest that in your future and it continues to compound and grow like that, a small number can turn into a very large number in the future. The longer you put this to work, the more money you will have in the future. So it's important for young people to get started. Those of you that are young, it's important to get started. Your clients encourage the young people to start putting money away. And if you're an older person, that doesn't mean you can't take advantage of this. You still need to start working towards your future and your goals.
Thank you so much, Valentino. We have a question from Fred, and it's on the taxes. So, Dr. Amwa, taxation and tax education is very low in the country. I'll be very glad if you can add tax planning education to your program. So this is a recommendation from Fred.
Yeah, Fred, thank you very much. We acknowledge the valuable contribution and suggestion, and it is part of our program lineups, and we even have a write-up on tax planning and tax education. So definitely we will consider that, and we are considering that. Thank you for your observation. We are indeed grateful.
Thank you too. If you have any questions, kindly drop it in the chat box. But Dr. Amwa, while we wait for the final questions, you said you were going to share the results of the survey with us so that we know where we fall as employees when it comes to financial planning.
Okay, thank you very much. Can I share screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to share screen. Please, can you see my screen now?
Yes. I can see your screen.
Okay, so in all, we had 34 response from the survey that HR sent out. And our average score is about 9. That is 8.85 out of the 34 respondents. Most of us scored 9/20. That means we are not just financially aware. The median score was 20, and then the highest was 16. So that is it on the general view. But I believe that those of us who participated in this survey, we had individual response. If you didn't get it, just go to your spam mail and you see your individual score. The interest here is a distribution. If you look at the distribution, you can see that someone scored 1, 3 scored 1, 3. We have 3 individuals score. No, we have 1 individual scoring 3. We had 3 scoring 4 in that manner. And then we had just 1 individual scoring 16. If you look at the shape of the curve, it's normal. In other words, many of the respondents are clustered between 8 to about 10 in terms of the score. So that means that most of us will have to look at the issues again and address them. Point of interest is, the point of interest here is where we are not doing well. Where we are not doing well, and I would like to go straight to that point. Okay, where we are not doing well, paperwork, about 67% are quite okay with paperwork. 32 are not so much good at paperwork. In terms of net worth, we have 64.7% of respondents of Axis employees having at least a good idea of what their value is. 35.3% do not and cannot currently come clear on their net worth. When it comes to cash flow management, too, 58 have an idea of the available cash, and they know that the cash that they have can take them through the next 6 months. 41%, are not so much aware. 52% are saying they have monthly budgets. 47% says they don't have a monthly budget. Expenses, when it comes to expenses, a whopping 61 or 62% are saying that they will not be able to cover their monthly bill for the next 12 months if they do not receive a paycheck. HR, employees are saying that if you are not able to pay them for the next 12 months, you are in trouble. So we need to look at it. Okay, only 32% of them are saying they can. Employment benefit, 55% of them are saying they are aware, they understand it. About 44 are saying, no, they don't understand what benefit they have at Axis. So I believe that, like Mimi said, after here, you can talk to HR. HR will then walk you through the employment benefit. When it comes to goals, I think Axis is doing well. 85% of employees of Axis are quite aware of what is important to them, and they've really taken the trouble to write it down for themselves and their families. Only 14% are not good at doing this. Do they know when they are going to retire? This is not surprising. You cannot be working for Axis and you have no idea of when you are going to retire. So 85% of employees of Axis are saying that, yes, they know when they are going to retire. Only 14.7% of them are not too sure. But interestingly enough, this knowing does not translate into financial independence. Even though 85% know when they are going to retire, they are not confident that their income and assets will help them to live a comfortable and quality life. So they are not translating their knowledge into planning for financial independence. So Mimi and your team, you have a lot of work to do. Yes, they are aware of when they will retire, but in terms of building the assets, in terms of accumulating funds to help them live their life, they are saying that no, 52% of them say they are not too sure. Financial independence is even worse off. Worse off. They have not calculated how much they will need to reach their financial goals. Meanwhile, you have financial calculator, you have all the tools there. So I think it's about awareness. And once the engagement and the education goes on, at least it will transform into actions. So 58 or 59% says they have not calculated how much money they will need to reach their financial goals. only 41 have done that. Major expenditures, of course, 52% or 53% of them have thought and made a list of their major expenditures. For 47, they've not. Is your current investment enough to meet your investment or retirement needs? 55% of them are saying yes. 44 are saying no. So if you look at the numbers, it is drawing us to a balance. Are you taking advantage of tax savings under the 3-tiered pension scheme? 58 or 59% of them are saying yes. 41 says no, they are not taking advantage. So some level of tax education is also very, very important. Do you know how much income tax you earned on your last CD? 53% are saying no, they don't know. 47 is aware. So again, it boils down to the suggestion that was made that tax planning is not only an issue at Axis. Tax planning looks more like a systemic problem that we have in Ghana. I think GRA and then tax experts will have to take out that responsibility and educate the masses when it comes to tax. Look at rates and insurance. Rates and insurance is terribly low at Axis. You know, Axis employees are not attempting to manage their exposure. Maybe they are good at retaining all the risks, but it's not a good plan. 85% of employees have no insurance. They don't have any amount to cover their insurance for anything like life, health, and disability. This is an area that I think going forward, maybe Axis will have to help its employees to look at. I know you are into pensions, I know you are into retirement, but then again, you cannot build all this pension and retirement plan if you don't have a cover by way of insurance. So we need to look at it and then to see how best that can help. And then look at gift and estate plan. It is zero. You are not going to live forever. Axis employees, Mimi and Co, you not live forever. So why are you not planning? 100%, no gift and estate plan. You are yet to be raptured. So you are not going to have what? A different body. You are definitely going to die. So please, the point here is that let us try to walk ourselves through gift and estate plan, and let's try to engage and think about it. It's very, very important. We don't want to have this situation on 100%, no gift and estate plan. So all the assets that you've acquired, should something happen today, how will it be distributed? Maybe you are talking about interstate succession law. Yes, interstate succession law works, but then it is better that if you have acquired your own property or estate, be in charge and make sure that that is managed for you. So we need to work on gift and estate plans. When it comes to power of attorney, somebody to take certain critical decisions for us. In case of emergency, you are sick. The doctor says, I need to do a very important surgery, and you cannot approve. Somebody must do that for you. About 100%, nobody has a power of attorney in our family, for our families and for ourselves. It is either we don't understand the concept of power of attorney, or we understand that we are not making use of it. Let us engage our lawyers, and I believe that Axis as in-house legal practitioners, and they can also organize some of these in-house seminars so that employees can be up to speed about this, and they can get their power of attorney intact. And then advanced healthcare directorate. Again, healthcare directorate, you can see that clearly 88% of employees who participated in this survey are not making use of advanced healthcare directive. So if there's a health challenge now, and they have, like I said, there has to be a serious intervention, somebody must lead that, somebody must take that decision. We are not prepared for it. This is not peculiar to Axis. This response run across for most people that we have engaged in. It's an area in Ghana that we have overlooked. Estate management is also an area that in Ghana that we have overlooked. Charitable giving, 91.2% have not thought through, because maybe we think that our salaries and earnings are too small. But see, you don't need too much. Out of that too small you have, you can still give a helping hand to somebody out there. You can give a helping hand to your school, you can give a helping hand to your church, to your community you live in. let us consider that as part of our personal financial planning. When it comes to trust and advantages of trust services, 61.8% again is not aware of trust and what we can use trust to do. Maybe again, because we think that we are too poor, we are not earning enough, but you don't need to be earning all the money before we can make use of trust. There are trust companies in Ghana. We can engage them and they can help us manage our wealth. So on a whole, this is just a survey. We are not dealt into the details, but at least it gives us a picture. And I'll say that the issue of tax, the issue of gift, the issue of power of attorney, the issue of giving, the issue of planned giving are some of the areas that we have to consider, not to forget financial independence, retirement, and the fact that we are aware of when we'll be going for retirement, but we are not working on how much we will need and how much we are putting aside for us to achieve that financial independence that we want. So this is just the preliminary conclusion that we can draw from the survey. Thank you very much.
Professor Benjamin, let's give the gift to the employees too before we at our closing. So we've got some tools to help them with what we've just shared here. So let me have the screen back.
Yeah. Pick it up. Pick the screen up from your end.
Okay. Let's see.
So while we wait for our gifts, so that we can all improve our situation right now, I would like to say thank you so much. I think this has been very revealing, and the key to progress is to be aware of where we are now, so that we can put in place a strategy to help us improve. So thank you so much, Doug, Peter, Valentino, for spending this time with us to reveal things that we as professionals have not had time to sit down and think through. I think it's been very revealing, and I'm sure my colleagues think the same too. So thank you so much for this. I'm sure after this, we'll have to do a lot to improve. I'm sure next time you come, hopefully in a year's time, our results will be much, much, much better.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mimi. And by now you can kind of see that getting organized and staying organized and financial estate and gift planning are very important life skills, and it's a lifelong process. So get started now. You'll never have more time than you do at this moment. Over the years, many folks have told us that they'll get around to doing their financial estate and gift planning when they get around to it. So if that's kind of your situation, we have a special gift for you around to it. So there's no excuse to not be able to start planning for your future. Joking aside, in our short time together, we hope you've enjoyed our introduction to the building blocks to successful financial planning, and also to the improving financial awareness and literacy movement and the association at the university. And if you ever need another round to it, just please ask Mimi or Amma, and I'm sure they can get one for you. As a closing gift, we do have a gift of personal finance knowledge and some tools for you. One is a financial fitness calendar. This calendar can be downloaded. It has some tips and things to do, little things to do each month that throughout the year, if you can follow these, will get your financial house in order. We also have for you a set of personal finance publication sets. This will be available for downloading around May 30th from the university's website. We'll give you the link to that as well. This will cover the forms and materials that you saw during the presentation today, and a lot more. So from our perspective, once again, thank you for allowing us to make this presentation, and we wish you all good health and good luck with your personal financial management. Best wishes to you all.
Thank you so much to the team. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. I hope it's been very insightful and impactful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pep, I don't know if you have any clues. Sorry, Valentino.
Yes.
I thought you had something to say.
No, we're good here. Thank you Thank you all for giving us the opportunity to address this very, very important life matter. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Valentino. Pep, please, you have some closing remarks.
Okay, so I just want to say thank you to Valentino, Professor Amwa, and then Peter, and then yourself, because this is very insightful. And just to give comfort to the team here, we have a group life insurance. So doctor mentioned risk management. So the lawyer has taken a fast step for you. So you are covered. So just keep calm and then think through the others and then just get yourself sorted. So we are so grateful for your time. We are so grateful for this knowledge that you have shared with us. We won't let